Battersea City Expats Club is a non-profit social organisation and our speakers are volunteers. The club as such assumes no responsibility or liability for the professional reputation of or the quality of services provided by the speaker today.
I can write a song working with Patty and Misfits in the sunshine. Did you want to introduce me or something? Okay, cool.
We're just going to wait till we get the TV monitor up. But I'd like to introduce our next speaker. He's a familiar face. Ren has got so many certificates that I think you have more than Barry Kenyon at home. Your house is just full of them. Ren last spoke to our group about the Jesus Code, and today he's going to talk about the devil. So I've just been thinking, I think Ren's kind of in purgatory. You're neither here nor there. It's the demons, yeah, I know it's the demons. So I'd like you to give a very warm welcome to Dr. Ren today for his little speech, and go for it, Ren.
G'day, g'day, g'day. All right, so I've called this Thai Myth Spawns Hell Demons. Now, so we'll be going through the journey of how I came to write this novel. And along the way, you'll learn about the second biggest influence on Thai culture after Buddhism, and what that is, and just how massively influential it's been. Is it still on? Yeah? Really? It's not going to work on me? It worked when we were practicing. Can you go to the next slide? All right. So a little bit of background about me. This is the first and only novel I've had published as of today. Eye of the Shadow. Sometimes the blind see better than anyone. A novel of murder and rebirth. It was published in Australia by Penguin, and it was shortlisted for Book of the Year, the top 5. And why this particularly moves me is because this was done by a group of people who didn't care whether you were famous. They cared about the book. It was done for the Braille and talking book version before you made money out of talking books. You gave that away. And it's written from the perspective of a blind person, as if a blind person wrote it. Now this is the unique thing about novels. More than any other art form, more than films, more than anything, it can take you inside the head of another person and their way of thinking and looking at things. All right, and it's come to this now. This is the website, HellDemons.com. And it's about, so this is now the intro to the novel. One thing I discovered was that it has many different elements to it, this novel, but part of it can be described as what they call a fantasy romance. And this is a massive genre. It sells massive numbers on Amazon. So I positioned the write-up like that. Would you go through hell for love? Who feels that at some stage in their life they've been through hell for love? Anybody here? Anybody not felt that at some stage? All right. Would you battle a demon for love? Would you place your life in the hands of a demon for love? Would you? Have you noticed that the world is going to hell at the moment? There's a bad reason for that. 8 demons have deserted their posts in hell and are hiding amongst us in human form, manipulating the path of humankind. Their aim is to enslave us without us actually knowing we've been enslaved. And they're succeeding. But there is a possible turning point, maybe. Ciao Bella Cafe in Los Angeles, a very strange man walks in and is served by a black waitress, wannabe actress named Brandy. And that is the setup for the start of HellDemons. It's slated as 4 very large fantasy novels, fantasy in inverted commas. And how did it come about? Oh. HellDemons. All right. It came about ultimately because of this. The screen's working now. The Ramakien. The Ramakien is a myth. Is there any Indians in the audience this week? No? Well, it comes originally from an Indian myth, the Ramayana. Ramakien means, the Thai word for it, means the glory of Rama. And it's got romance in, as you can see, and it's got demons in. Now, who has ever seen any of the artwork or artistic pieces spawned by the Ramakien? Anybody here ever seen one? You've all seen them, okay? Oh, I've got to get used to I'm not used to this one. Anybody ever seen stuff like this or like this at temples? Right? All the temples have these demon figures that are guardian figures supposed to keeping out the bad energies so that, and of course it's got nothing to do with Buddhism. Nothing. It's a Thai thing and they brought it in. And some of them are beautiful. Look at the beauty of this thing. It's a demon, it's absolutely beautiful. Big, yeah, some of them are huge. And you all recognize this. Who is this? Tell me. Who? Hanuman? Yeah? Hanuman? It's not Hanuman. No, it's his son, actually. It's not Hanuman. Hanuman was the monkey warrior god king in the Ramakien. He was a bit of a Jack the Lad. So you'll notice this is like a... By the way, if you're catching a taxi, don't say, take me to the Machanu statue, because they probably won't know what you're talking about. That's its actual name, Machanu. They'll say, take me to the Hanuman statue. But you can see the tail, because the monkey god king with magical powers, he was a Jack the Lad. He slept with a few people. He slept with a mermaid, as one does when one can. And so they had a kid, and the Machanu is actually a composite of both their names. And you'll see images about just down the road, you know. You'll see that image as you drive past it. It's half monkey, half mermaid. And the Ramakien has had an astounding influence on Thai art and culture. So you can see this beautiful thing. This is a scene from the Ramakien. This is a classic scene from the Ramakien. Horny demon makes off with human princess, as you would if you could, I guess. I don't know. Big battle scenes. There's huge battles in the Ramakien. Now, it spawned a lot of it spawned a lot of art forms, or it became the subject of a lot of art forms. Because if you're doing the life of Buddha, you know, very interesting, but you can't do battles and you can't do lust and all that. So this is called Nang Yai. Now, Nang means hide or leather, right? And these puppets, as it were, they've been etched out of leather. So what they're holding up there is actually buffalo hides that have been made into shapes and figures from the Ramakien. And so this is what it looks like. So Nang means Nang Yai, big buffalo hide.
การเล่นจับลิงหัวค่ำนะครับเราจะยกตัวอย่างระหว่างลิงขาวกับลิงดำนะครับลิงขาวคือเป็นฝ่ายของความดีนะครับส่วนลิงดำนั้นเป็นฝ่ายของความชั่วนะครับซึ่งลิงสองตัวนี้นะครับเป็นศิษย์ของพระอาจารย์เดียวกันนะครับแต่วันนี้นะครับไม่รู้ว่าเพราะสาเหตุอันใดนะครับเกิดการทะเลาะกันใหญ่นะครับก็เป็นการไล่จับกันนะครับเป็นการต่อสู้กันนะครับเป็นศิษย์
So that's Nang Yai. Now, they all knew the plot. Everybody who was in that audience had seen it before, and they all knew the plot, but they're watching it again, they're applauding and seeing how it's done. Anybody want to hazard a guess about what happened in that scene? It was a battle, right? You see, he sort of did a spinning cut, tried to do a spinning punch, etc. And then the guys showed triumph by standing on top of him and above him. So I was the victor, right? Now, there's a very little interesting side light from this, right? Now, who has been to a film recently? Anybody been to a film? Right, we say we go and see a film. But of course, we don't go and see film. Film is archaic. There's no film in a projector now. We're going to go and see digitals. We should be saying, I'm off to the cinema to see digitals, right? And similarly, Thais, when they say, I'm going to a film, they'll say, oh, Pomja Bai Nang Nhai. I'm going, oh no, they won't say that. They'll just say, Pomja Bai Nang, right? I'm going to, and of course they're not saying Nang at all. They're saying a cinema, but the term is carried over like our term of film. Now, the Ramakien has had a massive influence on Thai royalty, because this is the revered Rama IX. And just the name, Rama, they got from the Ramakien, the glory of Rama is what it means. And it became the adopted myth and ethos of Thai royalty, okay? So really they are, in a sense, the Shakri dynasty. And Shakri is from Sanskrit word, and it means wheel. And you might have heard, you know, chakras on your body, your third body and stuff. So that's really the name of the dynasty. But they were so taken with the myth of the Ramakien that they changed their name to Rama. And this guy in particular, Rama VI, was one of the kings that actually had a big influence. They helped translate it from Indian into Thai, and Sanskrit into Thai, and they helped shape it and adapt it to Thai culture, etc. And they actually there's a dance form that evolved, and for centuries it was only permitted to be watched by royalty. Cone dance, here it is. See the static positions again, indicating you're getting on top in the fight. It's carried over from Nang Yai. Take note of the pointing when the demon points at King Rama. Pointing is very significant. So very beautiful cone dancing. Now we're privileged to watch it, but for centuries it was only for royalty. Going to all that trouble and the costumes and the elaborate things and the costumes and masks and everything and the music, all just for royalty. Now this is probably my favourite art form that I unfortunately never seen. I'd really like the opportunity to see this properly done. Hun Grabok. And it's done using puppetry, and each puppet needs 3 puppeteers to actually bring it to life. It's quite amazing. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't find a really good quality video, but I hope you can get some of this from this video, because it is beautiful. I really want to see it.
กำเนิดทศกัณฐ์เรื่องราวของนนทุกข์อสูรผู้รับใช้พระศิวะณเขาไกรลาภและได้รับพรนิ้วเพชรเมื่อชี้ไปที่ใครก็สังหารผู้นั้นได้จนสร้างความวุ่นวายไปทั่วแดนสวรรค์ร้อนถึงพระนารายณ์ต้องจำแรงกายเป็นหญิงงามมาหลอกล่อจนนนทุกข์เสียท่า เมื่อนนทุกข์รู้ว่าหญิงงามคือพระนารายณ์แปลงจึงตัดพ้อว่าตนมีเพียง2 มือจะสู้พระนารายณ์ซึ่งมีถึง4 กรได้อย่างไร
Really beautiful, isn't it? Amazing. But they don't do it too much because who can afford to pay 3 puppeteers per puppet nowadays? But it does still exist. So, and this, now you've got to remember, they're all watching this beautiful art forms and they already know the plot, right? They know what's going to happen, but it's like, oh, it's enchanting. It's special, especially pre-TV, right? Now, this tradition of rewatching the same plot apparently has been carried over to Thai soap operas. So when the West creates a soap opera, they want it to last for a decade, right? Or days of our lives for endless decades. But Thais expect a soap opera to last a pretty short amount of time. And then it will, and they'll pretty much know what's going to happen, and then it'll come to an end, and then there'll be another soap opera with pretty much the same plots and different cast and stuff, and then redone. So because they're used to this idea of rewatching plots that they already understand. So let's have a look at part of this massive Ramakien myth, the second saga. It's got a lot in it. Anyway, so it starts off, and demons are slaves, okay? They're a slave race. They're enslaved by humans, and as you can see from this, I hope, yes, mistreated, okay, abused. Totsukan, this kid, comes to a stage where he prays for a power. And the power he is given is the power to kill people by pointing at them, right? So this is why it's become incredibly rude to point in Thailand, okay? Because it's like, oh, you want me to die, right? So you don't point at Thais, you might gesture like this, but do not point. So that's where it comes from. Anyway, so the demons rebel on the power of Totsukan, the chief demon. They all seem to be related. But anyway, so they successfully rebel against the humans and they establish an independent kingdom ruled by Totsukan. By the way, the names have changed for the Thai version. In the Ramayana, he's Ravana. But anyway, so they actually start a demon kingdom in Sri Lanka, on the island of Sri Lanka. Rama and Sita. Well, they see each other, and as soon as they see each other, they go, oh my God, who is that? Me likey, me wanty, this person, okay? They don't know that they're both royalty. So and Sita is the most beautiful woman of all time. She makes Helen of Troy look like a dog. She's so beautiful, right? And, sorry? Well, in the Thai myth, she's called Sita. Yeah, Sita. From later, okay. But I think in the Indian myth, she's called Sita as well, I think. So so she's this absolute doll, and there's a competition to win the right to marry her. And it's an archery competition, and Prince Rama bends the unbendable bow, and he wins the competition. So it looks all hunky-dory for happily ever after. Rama's in line for the throne, and his father gets sick and is dying. So, you know, he's been a royalty guy and he's slept with some women, and some time back he knocked up some woman in the forest. And she said, okay, I'm not going to, and he said, I can't marry you. And she said, that's okay, but, you know, and he said, look, one wish, you make one wish and I will grant that wish, okay? And she said, she doesn't, what do you want? She says, I'm not ready to make a wish. So as he's dying, she comes back and she says, you know, we had a son. You promised me my one wish. I want my son to be king. Now, and he says, I have to honour my promise. Now, you've got to remember, this became the dominant myth and way of thinking for the Rama family, right? The royal family. And it sets this incredibly high bar for how royalty should behave. And this is one of the reasons we've had Thailand's been blessed with some really good kings, because they set this bar of the Rama. We have to be honourable like the royalty in the Ramakien is, right? So, the Thai kings got rid of slavery, they brought in democracy, they've held the country together, amazing. So anyway, the king calls in Prince Rama and says, I made this promise, I have to keep my promise. This child has to become king. I know everybody wants you to be king. And she says, and the woman says, look, everybody loves Prince Rama. If he stays in the city, they're going to rebel against my son's rule to put him on the throne. So he has to go and live in the forest for 14 years, so that doesn't happen. So, and the king says to Prince Rama, will you do this? Will you go and Prince Rama says, I promise you I will go and live in the forest for 14 years. Again, this extremely honourable thing. And his brother, another prince, begs him to come with, I will keep you company in the forest. And Sita goes with as well. So there they are off to the forest, living in the forest, setting themselves for 14 years. But enter Samanaka, hot demon bitch, right? Shashela farm, okay? She hears that there's this incredibly hot-looking guy living in the forest. So she goes to check him out. Oh my God, me likey, me wanty, okay? She thinks I want to do the demon thing with this guy, right? So she changes herself into human form, which demons can, of course, and she's pretty hot. And so she tries to seduce Rama. And he says, no, I am pledged to Sita. She is my one true love. She makes every woman in history look like a dog. So Samanaka, hot demon bitch, gets pissed off. And she tries to kill Sita. But Rama intervenes and defeats Samanaka. And instead of killing her, which would have simplified the plot, he just cuts off her hair and sends her away in disgrace. She runs back to big brother Totsakan and says, I've been disgraced, I've been violated, it's all that Prince Rama's fault. And, I don't know what her story about the violation might have involved. So he's pretty pissed. But she also tells him, oh, by the way, in the forest, Sita, this woman that makes every other woman look pretty ordinary, is living. And he goes and he looks at her and his demon eyes light up. And he tricks Rama into going away from Sita, so he's not there to protect her. And he kidnaps her. Okay, so he drags her back to the demon kingdom. But this is, by the way, there's now, it's been all pretty realistic and believable until now, right? Okay. But right now, it's been taking a turn for the unbelievable, because he doesn't ravage her straight away, right? Because Pipek is the bright one of the group. He's the bright brother, right? Really smart guy. He's like a Mordu. He can predict the future. He's an astrologer. He's a very smart guy. And he says, look, I've cast the charts and the numbers and everything. If you ravage this woman, it's going to be a disaster, blah, blah, blah. So Totsakan doesn't touch her, supposedly. That's in the story anyway. Meanwhile, of course, Prince Rama's going on the warpath, and he goes to the monkeys and tries to enlist them in the battle against the demons and stuff. And that's where he meets the monkey god king Hanuman, who joins with him. And Hanuman, this is him when he's in battle mode, he transports himself to the island, the demon kingdom, to rescue Princess Sita. But under one variation of the story, she's trying to hang herself, and he stops her hanging herself. And he says, I can take you back to Prince Rama. And so it's Prince Ram under the Indian. So, And she says, no, I've had this vision that if that happens, then it's going to be a disaster, blah, blah, blah. He has, and so she doesn't go back with him. But Hanuman does set fire to the demon kingdom. And the monkeys get involved, and they start building this stone bridge to Sri Lanka to defeat the demons. War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing, right? I feel like Barry Upton now. So, look at the beautiful aesthetics of these pictures. They're amazing, right? It's been really inspired artistry in Thailand. And Pipek, the smart one, he changes sides to get on the side of the humans because he realises the demons have lost the plot and Totsakan thinks he's a god and blah, blah, blah. And because he's so smart, battle tactics, etc., the humans win. And Rama and Sita are reunited. Now, it's not all smooth sailing from there, and in fact, the Indian variation has a pretty unhappy ending in some ways, and there's all sorts of things. But they are together. And by the way, again, this incredibly honourable thing, the royalty, Prince Rama goes, he's just conquered the demons. He walked back into the city. They'd all proclaim him king. And he goes, look, I've still got X number of years to go on my 14 years in the forest. I promised my father I'm going back to the forest to finish my 14 years. So this has set the bar up very high for the Rama dynasty, right, in Thailand. So here's the question. How did the Ramakien spawn this hell demons vision I have, okay? Well, I lived in Bangkok for a year and a half before I moved to Pattaya. This is the Chao Phraya River in Bangkok. And I went to an art show in the Chao Phraya River, and there I met the guy who was then the current art critic for the Bangkok Post. He also taught English. And it turned out we were both writers with an interest in Jungian psychology, and we went to the same primary school in Australia in different years, right? Toongabbie Public School, Western Suburbs. So we started swapping ideas, and he sent me a novel, and I read the novel, and I thought this is going to be a short friendship, because I told him he needed to throw away the first 4 chapters of his novel. and I thought, it's not... And he went back, and he said, I couldn't do that. And then he went back and looked at it and thought about it. He said, you're right, I need to throw away my first 4 chapters. So he's really good at taking feedback. Adro. And anyway, down the track, he sent me a short story. And the short story was inspired by a very, very interesting idea. Whatever happened to the demons in the Ramakien? What became of them? And he had a very interesting and inventive answer to this that involved hell. Now, this is a symbolic picture of what you call the Buddhist version of hell. The Buddhist version of hell is really more like purgatory, okay? So what happens is you've committed so many sins, you've been living in Pattaya so long, and you committed so many sins that your soul is too heavy to continue normal human incarnations. So you sink to the Buddhist version of hell, which is called Narok or Naraka. And their demons inflict pain on you commensurate with your sins, so you can purge them and resume normal human incarnations and hopefully get to samadhi, enlightenment, and become a Buddha. Now, this is just up the road. Who's been here? Wang Sang Suk Hell Garden Bang San. Who's been there? It's not that far away. Hire a bolt and go there. Don't go there on a Sunday, because it's the nearest beach to Bangkok, and all the Bangkok people flood down on a Sunday. So it's got these scenes of all these tortures being inflicted by hell demons in hell, in Naraka. It's incredibly striking. So you can see all terrible things being done to these souls who deserve it. This woman, I presume, has not been terribly faithful, and this woman's having the squeeze put on her. Maybe she put the squeeze on other people, I don't know. Maybe she was squeezing some guy for money, who knows. As you can see, this bird eating entrails and stuff, etc. And by the way, last time I went there anyway, it was free, and kids can just wander in, you know. There's no age limit, okay? Yeah, see, this is what happened to you if you keep, you know, misbehaving, right? The boogeyman. And see this one here, I assume she was told a lot of lies. I know it's hard to believe that a Thai woman would tell lies, but, you know. So that's Naraka on the rock. You really want to go up there, Bang San, sometime and have a look. So he had this vision. That's where they've been. They've been serving as hell demons in hell. And this short story was this one demon comes out of hell searching for the reincarnation of his son. And then it becomes a bit of a Marvel comic thing and there's planes bombing them and whatever. But I thought, wow, this is a really cool, fresh idea. These hell demons coming out of the Eastern version of hell. Because you think of all the big fantasy visions, Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, they've all got Western mythological backgrounds, right? They've got witches and warlocks and vampires and elves and dwarfs and stuff. But this had an Eastern mythological background. So I thought, this could be much more than a short story. So how could it be more than just a short story? So I came up with this idea. 8 demons have deserted their posts in hell. They're hiding amongst us in human form, manipulating the course of mankind. And a good demon, Pipek, the good one, is sent out of hell to track them down one at a time and drag them one at a time back to hell. Okay? So I had to find 8 demons, 8 more demons. So, and the great thing about the Thai aesthetic is fantastic. They have individual looks for individual demons. This one is maroon, okay, as a gold, traditionally a gold look to it. So with every demon, I came up with a power that they would have and with a lust or a craving. But say in the case of Pipek, his superpower is smell. He has this sense of smell which is unbelievable, right? So he can smell cancer in people, as like dogs can smell cancer in people. And Maroon's superpower is he can turn parts of his body into metal. So you try to strike him and suddenly you're hitting metal and break your hand. Or if he hits you, his hand turns into metal and breaks you. And his deviant craving I came up with is he believes he can absorb the life force out of the body when it's dying, right? That he can absorb the life force. So he develops the skill of driving people to suicide, okay? Taunting them to suicide. And then just as he realizes they're ready to kill themselves, he'll hand them a knife to slit their own throat. He's not killing them. They're doing it themselves, not his karma, right? Lord Korn, Samanaka, hot demon bitch. Gumpakan, now this is one that traditionally has a tiara. So I thought, okay, this could be like a ladyboy thing where Gumpakan can be all lady or all woman or anything in between, right? So you think you're screwing this woman, suddenly you're screwing a man instead, right? And it's captured on video, so, you know. Okay. Pia Tort, Tresian, Astada, and Totskun, head demon. So I had these 8 demons for these 8 battles. So I needed, of course, I needed a human hero, and this is Brandy, the black waitress wannabe actress. I developed this image from a very good website, image2go.com, where you can put in what you want an image of and it will create it. Okay, very good one to play with. I think our main tech genius will be back next week, Brad, and I'll get him to give a talk on how you can use AI. But this was the image I really liked, Brandy. So this became my image for Brandy that I put on the cover. And you always want to individualize it. You want to write something that only you could write. And I'd read this book. Who's read this book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman? Fantastic book, really. And it's all about the World Bank and stuff. So I used themes from that. And it's really, I highly recommend that book. Eye-opening, really. So I had this idea for 8 demons, 8 films, right? HellDemons of LA, HellDemons of New York, HellDemons of Las Vegas, HellDemons of Washington. Anybody think there might be some demons in Washington? Maybe. HellDemons of New Orleans, HellDemons of Bangkok, HellDemons of Jerusalem, HellDemons of Rome. Actually, wrong order. HellDemons of Rome, HellDemons of Jerusalem. But I had a problem. This was my problem. So the problem was this. I wrote the first script, HellDemons of LA, and the problem I had was, if I go to a studio in Los Angeles and I've got the script, they'll go, "Beauty, this is a really cool idea. We'll buy the script off you, piss off. We own all the sequel rights, we own all the merchandising, everything's ours, go away." So I thought, no, I don't feel comfortable with that idea. The reason J.K. Rowling is a billionaire is because she wrote a novel, right? She controls all the intellectual property, okay? So I thought I'll turn the first script I'd written, HellDemons of LA, into a novel. And novelization's usually boring as, but I had a cool idea. I would write it from the perspective of Pipek, the demon who'd been sent here to track down the demons and drag them back to hell one at a time. I would write it, he was writing it, okay? And of course, he hadn't been on Earth for thousands of years. It's like, so if you've never been on Earth for thousands, how do you describe glass? How the hell do you describe glass to somebody who's never seen it, right? And he's in the coffee shop, he's talking to Brandy, and he's seeing these women in high heels, okay? And he's going, why the hell are they wearing these? And Brandy comes to serve him and she goes, these strange sandals that the women are wearing, they're forced to wear them to stop them running away from men, yes? And she says, no, they're to make men run towards you and to make gay designers rich, right? So he has this very warped way of looking at things. So I turned it into a novel, and it was really good, right? You're inside this different stranger in a strange land's head. But then I had another problem, as it turned out, which is that nobody wants to read fantasy novels that are short. They all want to read these massive fantasy novels. So what I did was I then combined HellDemons of New York and HellDemons of LA into one story. And it's actually much better for that. And I had to write it from the perspective of this lady, Brandy, right? Brandy. And this was an interesting question. This is a girl who never finished high school, a black girl who never finished high school, a very disturbed home. And so I thought, I'll try to get a handle on how she might talk. And I got hold of autobiographies written by self-confessed black skanky hoes, right? And I read them, and they read like they were written by some white university graduate, okay? And they probably were. They were ghost-written, right? And so it didn't have the voice of these women. People come to me sometimes and they ask me, I want to get my autobiography written, thinking about ghostwriters and stuff. I say, get a tape recorder, tape record yourself reading about your life, right? Tape record that, get it put into a written form, bring in a professional editor. Because then it will be your voice and not the voice of some white university graduate, okay? So, that's a hot tip we're going to have to get you to give a talk about your autobiography you're writing, mate. So I had to really come up with my own unique way of Brandy talking. I'm looking at Linda, who's read it, reading the book. So it became HellDemons I, Initiation, a very 106,000 words, basically 400-page novel. And I was going to release it early December, and then I realised I could tie it in with Halloween, or as I like to call it, Halloween. Okay, so I was under a time pressure to get everything ready by it goes live on the 21st on Amazon. Halloween is coming and so am I. Be afraid. Trick or trick? Happy Halloween from HellDemons. This year, for a change, don't be a Halloweenie. Date a HellDemon. You know you want to. And this is it on Amazon. It's in pre-release special. It's only 99 cents till it actually goes live. So I know some people have already ordered it. Obviously sales are gold, and even more gold are reviews. So I'm hoping some people think, Ren's probably added 99 cents worth of value to my life. Maybe I could go and buy that book, right? If you think I've only added 87 cents worth of value to your life, I'll make up the difference, right? But what I want to do now, Linda over there has started reading it. She went to the website where you can read the first few pages of the book, first 10 pages on one of the things, and she said, wow, this has really sucked me in. I really want to read the book. So I sent it to her, and you're about 50% of the way through now, Linda. So she was kind enough to write a review. So this is her review. I'm reading it because she doesn't like speaking in public unless she's got a sock puppet, okay? Wow, where to start? I'm only 40% through this novel, and it has had an effect on me like very few novels I have ever read. The characters right from the front paragraph are palpable. It is written in a way where I can put myself in Brandy's place and feel what she is feeling. The novel is compelling, exciting, and thought-provoking. There are many references that have brought me to tears, and some that are related to today's modern advances, whether good or bad, that have left me challenging my own current actions and wondering, is there something different or possibly a better way to act on a basic level? Anyway, I love this novel. I look forward to reading it again and again. And I also look forward to future novels by Ren. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, I don't read that type of novel. Read the novel. If you don't like it, I'll give you the 99 cents back. I actually honestly believe that it's not really like any novel you've ever read. Because, Linda, you cried in places, right? You laughed in places. How many novels have you ever read that make you both laugh and cry? And you'll get inside the heads of these people. And it'll be a very unique and powerful journey for you. And on a personal level, I need as many early sales and reviews as I can get. It's currently available in the pre-sale on as a Kindle. You get the app and you can read it on your phone or any tablet or whatever, or computer. And it'll be out in paperback print on demand and hardback print on demand next week. And so it'll be a great Halloween experience for you. So there you go. Demons never sleep. That's the journey to HellDemons.com. Taking any questions or comments.
I have one question for you, Ren. Thank you for the history lesson, but I want to know, when you go to bed at night, do you dream about demons?
Only if I spent too long around you.
Brian? Okay.
One.
I know your priority is getting it out right now, but gaming is a huge market. This would seem to be suited for gaming. Have you thought about? I assume you've thought about that.
Linda's going to smile at that reference because the gaming figures very big in the whole plot of the book, the early part of the book and stuff. So yes, This is the thing. I'll tell you another story. I wasn't planning to tell you. At one stage, I had it professionally assessed. And what I'm talking to is about the first saga of HellDemons, right? I had it professionally assessed. And he said, look, I'm going to tell you the opposite of what I tell everybody else. People come to me, they'd say, I'm worried my idea is going to get stolen. You know, he says, and I say, that doesn't happen. Ren, I am telling you, hide most of the vision because it's just too big. And I said, but you know, I've got a copyright, Library of Congress. He said, it's too big. Somebody reads all this and they think, oh, I've got a way around this. And then you're only left with the court case. So this is just the first saga of the HellDemon Chronicles. But yes, definitely. It's actually a reference into book to Demon Wars, a computer game based on the Ramakien characters.
Thanks, Ren. Insight to Thai culture. It sort of explains a little bit about my wife.
Does she point at you a lot?
Well, she's not a demon, but she thinks there's demons around everywhere. If we're in the lift and the door opens and nobody gets in, she wants to get out because she thinks that a P or a demon has come in. And she's worried that it might not open the door again or even fall. And the other thing is, she will not go anywhere near a shop that's selling wigs and black faces or, well, God, no. She'll walk the other side of the road. So the explanation now has brought it home to me that she has this psychic inside her, and I can't laugh at it because she believes in it. And sometimes she has a dream that wakes her up and wakes me up as well, because she's absolutely scared. She'll switch the light on, and then we have to sleep with the light on. But their culture is a lot deeper than what we've got. But when you were talking about it, you enlightened me further by pushing it into layman's terms. And I remember when I first started to go to Italian opera, I didn't understand anything that was going on. But on repeat visits, eventually I enjoyed it. So thank you for that.
Thanks for that comment, John.
Yes, Poppy.
I knew John was going to bring up his wife somehow with this topic. I get a lot of laughs. But thank you for your presentation. Absolutely phenomenal. And good luck. Congratulations on the book, by the way. I'm curious about, because I haven't read it, the portals or mechanism you use for demons to come into the world, because right now, some may disagree with me, but many do on the internet. There is something called the Large Hadron Collider underneath Switzerland called CERN, which is actually opening up portals to bring demons into this world. What is the mechanism you use in the book?
In the book, it's the use of mystical symbols so that HellDemons can open up a temporary portal between this plane and the next. And sorry, the reason I'm smiling is because at one stage there's a conversation between Brandy and Pipek, and she says, "So how did the demons, get out of hell to get here?" And he says, "No, you don't understand. This is a level of hell." And in a certain Buddhist sense, that is like correct. We're still suffering, right? We haven't escaped. It's just that we're suffering, and we still suffer from karma, but not in the sort of deliberate ways that the demons inflict on you down in Narok and Naraka and stuff. Yeah.
Just one quick comment and a quick question. Anybody who wants to see more of the murals, the Temple of the Emerald Buddha has extensive murals of the Ramakien that are just stunning. Tell the whole story, hundreds and hundreds of panels. The question I have for you is, you alluded to print on demand. Will you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, print on demand is something that Amazon does, where you submit the book in paperback form, and then they will print it on demand. I don't think it's all around the world, but in many countries, and ship it to you. So yeah, with whatever the postage is. So that's for people who are allergic to ebooks. That is an option. And I'm just finishing off the paperback. The cover for the paperback version should be finished today or tomorrow. The paperback version goes live in about a week for print on demand.
Thanks, Ren, for your talk. It brings me to a situation where I never really looked at, having lived here for 20 years and been married to a Thai for 20 years, that all of this is in her background, that I never really thought about this ever before. And so it's really brought it into my mind now, what you've come up with. One thing about it is I'd like to know, the symbol that's on government paperwork is a coot, that red mythical bird. Do you know what I'm talking about? You know, government
like the
documents.
Garuda or something like that?
You know, government documents
have,
even your Chinook has this, what they call a coot, apparently, which
I think it's usually called Garuda, isn't it?
a mythical bird.
The Garuda. It's a mythical bird, not just in Thailand, but in other countries as well. Garuda, yeah.
Right. I was wondering why they had used that symbol.
Well, sorry? I think it's from a different part of the Ramayana, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure, okay.
There are plenty of Western concepts with, particularly in comic books, of people sending demons back to hell, destroying demons. Particularly, I don't know if you're familiar with Ghost Rider. That's pretty much his main theme. In fact, when they made the movie, that was the whole point, was he was sending demons back to hell. I was just wondering, when you were writing, did you just figure that, you know, the Eastern mythology was just completely different and didn't concern yourself with any of the similar stories in the Western, or did you kind of change your thinking at all and to try to make it different?
I don't read a lot of novels, to tell you the truth, anymore. I have read a tremendous number in my life. I'm more concerned about creating the journey for the reader that's fantastic than I am concerned about what other people might have done that is similar. So as far as I know, there is, and of course there are demons and stuff in some Western tradition, but there's nothing really like the individualization of the demons that's in the Ramakien. You know, they've got these individual looks and characters and stories, and I just think I don't know if that's the case. Obviously, I don't know about every. Thank you for sharing that, but I don't know about every fantasy vision. So yeah, I can't really creatively comment, other than that I was very intent on creating a great vision and a great stories and great characters, rather than reading what other people had wrote. So.
Well, just since people are relating stories about their Thai better half, in my case, after I was here with my Thai partner, and we were, at that time I was renting a house in Kasa Jamtien village, and I went back to the U.S. for a month, came back, and my partner says, "We have to move." I said, "Why?" "I don't want to move. We have to move." I said, "Why? This house is fine." I said, "Why do you want to move?" "This house have ghosts." I said, "Okay, we move."
Well said. Yeah, no, ghosts, there aren't really ghosts and stuff in HellDemons as such. But yeah, Thais definitely believe in ghosts. And it's one of the reasons that, for instance, in if you buy, Thais don't like second-hand. They don't like second-hand places and stuff because it could have leftover ghosts because the previous people had bad karma and ghosts came in. There still could be ghosts there. Who's ever experienced what they call sleep paralysis, where you're lying in bed and you know you're awake, you can feel the bed, but you can't move? Has anybody besides me experienced that? Very, very scary. Actually, you can read in the start of the novel. Anyway, yeah, they believe that that's a ghost sitting on your chest and stuff and stopping your body getting back, your soul getting back into your body. So, when you're asleep, your soul wanders around the astral and then you can't get fully back in your body to move your body. Really scary moment. Yeah. Are we done? All done? Well, Amazon.com. Initiation, HellDemons, 99 cents, Ren Lexander, okay? And check out the website, HellDemons. You can read the beginning of the novel on that as well.
Thank you very much. Well, the one thing that I learned, Ren, is I got to stop pointing my finger at people, and I've got to revert to giving the finger again. And I think that's going to help me a lot. I'd like to present you with a certificate of appreciation. I want you to notice that this week it's gold. And I want to have everybody put your hands together again for a really interesting talk. Sally's going to take a picture. Okay, now we're going to move into the real interesting part of the program, our open forum and special interest groups. Daryl, anything you'd like to inform us about today? Maybe give us some good news about immigration, taxes?
Well, it's not good news. In our, it will be, I've already updated our web page for latest immigration information, but Barry Kenyon wrote a very recent article